Hey everybody, we're here with Chase at Heavenly Hawaiian Farms in Kona, and he's going to tell us why Kona coffee is the best.
Well, first let me kind of show you. So this farm, we have 40 acres here, and it goes all the way over to the edge of this road here, and then it follows these trees and kind of goes all the way down. There's a red tree way off in the distance, right where the edge of the highway is. That's the edge of the property, and it goes up another 200 feet in elevation as well. And it's right in the kind of perfect region for growing coffee, which is in Kona on the Big Island of Hawaii. And the reason it's so good here, the typical day, which we aren't really getting right now, but it's you get bright sunny mornings, some clouds as you get into the afternoon, and then a little bit of rain in the evening. That's basically the perfect weather for growing coffee.
Cool. And so why is Kona coffee the best? Like what is it so special about this region that makes it the best and like makes the flavor?
So this region, that weather, especially that amount of rain, kind of changes the beans. The beans are all made up of acids, oils, and sugars, and a lot of times when you grow coffee, you get more acids than oils. So you get that acidity, that kind of burn in the back of your throat. Here's one of the few places where you get more of those oils, and those are brought out and makes that coffee really smooth. You can drink it and not have to worry about that burn in the back of your throat or the acidity.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's go take a tour.
All right.
Okay, so we're at our first stop here on our plantation tour. Where are we now?
Well, I'm showing you the coffee trees.
Awesome.
And in case you didn't know, it's actually a fruit that grows on a tree. And January to March, you get these little white flowers, like blossoms, that cover all the trees on the farm. And it kind of looks like there's snow on the tree. So we call that Kona snow. And
Cool.
Eventually, each of those flowers, each of those blossoms is going to turn into a little tiny version of this green cherry. And this is going to grow and grow.
Can I pick one of those and...
Yeah, go for it.
So
That grows, and eventually, this year it was really the beginning of September when it started turning from green to yellow, orange, and eventually red.
Okay.
And once it turns red, you have 1 week to pick it. Otherwise, it shrivels up, turns black, and it's no good.
Cool.
So it's a very time-sensitive process. Really kind of like the large farms that can't bring in the manpower to handpick, which is all the Kona coffee farms, they all handpick. But really big farms, they kind of send machines down the rows of trees and they shake them, and everything falls down.
Okay.
The real problem with that is that when everything falls down, you're going to get a lot of orange and yellow, kind of unripe coffee mixed
And so you want the red ones. Those are the good ones.
Those are the ones that have had time to mature and taste the way they should.
Okay.
So if you have the yellow and the orange, some of it gets sorted out, but not all of it does, and it kind of gives it a more sour or bitter taste to the coffee. So if you want it to taste the way you should, you pick it when it's red.
Awesome.
But with that being said, hand picking, all the farms are coming into the season at the same time. So there's a huge demand for labor.
Very cool.
So people come from all over the world to pick.
Oh, really?
Oh, all right. So,
So where are we now?
So right here we're at our wet mill, which is what this machine is called. So once you pick all the cherries, you only have 7 days to pick it, otherwise it shrivels up and dies on the tree. After you pick it, you only have 24 hours to process it. So we round up all those bags of coffee, bring them over here, we weigh them on this scale each night, and then we dump it into this hopper. And the very next morning or that night, depending on how we want to do it, if you guys want to come around here too, all this coffee is going to flow down in here and then come down into this metal bin. And you can come check it out if you want. It's kind of just like an ugly metal bin. But what we're going to do here is fill this up with water. And this is how we sort the good cherries from the bad ones. Bad ones being some really underripe ones, some that have some bug damage. Those are all going to float to the top, and we're going to get down there, kind of scoop them out, get rid of them. All the good ones, those are going to get sucked up through here and go through this, which will take out any kind of stones or debris or anything that...
And is this the hot part of the hopper as well, or?
Yeah, so this is the hopper, and it's connected to this whole machine, this is all the wet mill.
Wet mill. Okay, got it.
And then the real job is actually done back here. So if you guys all want to follow me back here, I'll show you what happens. All right. So the main thing we're looking at is this thing right here. So all this cherry's coming up above, coming right around here and dropping into this. And if you feel this, it's going to feel kind of like a cheese grater.
Oh yeah.
And if you haven't guessed it already, the job is to take this coffee, the skin, we lost one, off of the bean. And almost all the time you get 2 beans per cherry.
Okay.
And these cherries, it's kind of debated, but it seems like there's actually more caffeine in the cherry skin than the actual beans. So there's different products that are made from it.
Okay, so they do make products out of the skins?
Yep, because they're kind of sweet.
Yep.
Kona Red makes an energy drink out of it. They also make diet supplements that are supposed to be healthy. They taste all right, but they're good for you. And then there's different kinds of tea that's made from this. And there's also recipes for jelly that I've heard out there. And I'm gonna try and make that.
So when the bean comes out, it's just like slimy. and
Exactly.
white. So this is the pre-roasted coffee bean.
Well, actually, there's a couple more steps. But if you feel that,
yeah, it's super slimy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to feel? Sure.
So that slimy outer layer, if you lick your fingers, it's also it's kind of sweet, and that's called mucilage. So I figured I'd tell you what it was after you licked your fingers.
Cool.
Because it's kind of gross sounding. But that's a layer that we get off. So we can go back around to the other side and I'll show you how we do that. First, it makes its way through this part of the machine. You guys don't be afraid, come on. What this is going to do is catch any cherries that slip through and didn't get the skin peeled off.
Okay.
So those are going to get captured in this grate, spit out into one of these 2 buckets, and we take those buckets, dump them back through to try again. The rest of the coffee has that slimy, gross mucilage on it. And that's going to drop into the bottom into a conveyor belt and come this way and enter into this auger.
Oh wow, look at that.
And what's happening is this is going to kind of rise and spin, and those beans, they're going to rub against each other, and that'll loosen up the mucilage, and then a bunch of water is going to come, rinse it off. That'll kind of drip out of here. There's nothing you can really do with the mucilage. And we catch all the rest of the beans in one of these 2 wheelbarrows right here. And at this point, they're pretty wet. So if you don't dry them, they're going to attract mold and bugs and a bunch of gross stuff that you don't want. So what we have are extremely high-tech drying floors. So
this is a drying floor then?
Yeah. So what's happening here is we're going to lay them all out, and when it's sunny out, it gets above 100 degrees in here. It gets pretty hot, and they're going to lay here for 3, 4, 5 days with the weather right now, maybe 7, and dry. And what we got to do though, every hour or so, is come in and turn the beans, make sure they dry evenly, and so they don't stick to the ground.
Okay.
And we do that by raking. So here, if you want to come over here.
Yeah, sure. Watch for this. That's a hell of a rake.
Yeah. So we take these rakes, and I don't know if you want to give it a try.
Yeah, sure.
And then if you guys want to try as well.
So what do you do here? You just
So no. So you take it, start where you are, and push it across that way.
push it across like this.
So and the thing that people don't realize is that you can actually step on the coffee.
You can step on the coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, step on the side here.
Well, so now you got to come back to the middle part though. So there's no way to avoid that.
Right. Very slippery.
Yeah, well, so all this coffee is from this one.
Really?
Yeah, so we milled it and not very much. This is how we get our free labor. So now, if you all want to come over here. So once it's all dry, you get beans that look more like this. So this is getting pretty close to being dry. You each want to take one.
Can I eat one of these?
You can eat one if you want. But what you'll notice is there's actually still a shell on the outside.
Yeah.
And this shell, you peel it off. And on the inside, you find the green coffee bean. And you can kind of scratch it a little bit because there's like another layer that's called the silver skin. And this is kind of an ugly looking bean, but you get this, and then the silver skin you scratch off, and on the inside you start to get the green bean. And these green beans, this is what we roast. So this is kind of what we're aiming to get. So you essentially, to roast them, you basically cook them. If you imagine kind of like a popcorn machine, there's a drum swirling them around.
Yep.
But in order to get to the green bean, we have to go through a process called dry milling.
Okay.
And how that works is essentially, and that gets these shells off, and it takes this silver skin off. And basically what happens if you have a table and it's hooked up to a machine, and that table kind of has a coarse sandpaper-like material on it, and that's gonna shake and peel that parchment right off.
Cool.
And then you get to the green bean, it'll buff that silver skin, and then you have shiny, nice green beans that are ready to be roasted.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today.
Oh, of course.
Great.
No problem.